something completely different. This episode of The Seventh House begins by going back to 1980. Album by Genesis is called Duke. We did the first 3 songs off of the album in order, Behind the Lines, Duchess, and Gaia vocals. Going to do 3 more songs off the Duke album before we wrap up the program this evening. The 3 songs that you just heard were the first 3 parts of what they called the Duke Suite, and we'll do the other 3 parts as we progress through this evening. You're listening to the 7th House live on this Monday evening, brought to you courtesy of the wonderful people at the House of Prog, www.houseofprog.com. We are live this evening. New location, new studio, new PC. The only thing that's not new is the DJ. Sorry about that. We'll be here till about 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, bringing you some interesting music this evening, and we'll just get into it right away with brand new music from a really cool band that everyone should need to hear. The band is known as DarWin. This is a new project by Simon Phillips, drummer extraordinaire. They just released a brand new album, their third album. The album is called Distorted Mirror. This piece is called Rising Distortion. We did two in that set from a band known as DarWin. Their brand new album is called it's called Distorted Mirror. Let's get it right, Mr. DJ. It's called Distorted Mirror. It was released about 2 weeks ago. That was the track you just heard, and the one before that was called Rising Distortion. DarWin is a very, very cool band. Simon Phillips on drums. I think everybody is familiar with the work of Simon Phillips. Also in the band, Greg Howe on guitar, Derek Sherinian, formerly of Dream Theater and Chroma Key, on the keyboards. It's Greg Bizanet on vocals, and Mohini Day on bass. And if you haven't heard Mohini Day, go check out her only solo album. She is phenomenal. Very, very excellent band. The album before this was called 5 Steps to the Sun. Highly recommended, and so is this one. You're listening to the 7th House on this first Monday in October. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is good to be back live, and I certainly hope we are going to be live for a long, long time. We'll be here till about 10:30 this evening. Grab your friends if you're enjoying the program. Let them know what you're doing on a Monday evening, and see if you can't get them to do the same. New music coming up later on this evening from Snarky Puppy. And I also have something live from Beat, from their live album that came out a couple weeks ago. But right now we're going to turn to what I like to call music with a message. A little bit of political music. We start with a band out of New York City, from their debut album, which is called Vivid. This has kind of become a classic. Living Color, Cult of Personality.
During the few moments that we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
The cult of personality. I know your anger, I know your dreams. I've been everything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality. Neon lights, Nobel Prize. When a mirror speaks, the reflection lies. You won't have to follow me. Only you can set me free. I saw the things you need to be. I'm the smiling face on your TV. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. I exploit you, still you love me. I tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Like Joseph Stalin and Gandhi. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. The cult of personality. The cult of personality. Neon lights, Nobel Prize. When a leader speaks, that leader dies. You won't have to follow me. Only you can set you free.
country can do for you.
The only thing we have to fear is
Tattoo shop.
Hi, Doc.
Hey, Fish, what are you doing?
If you don't mind, we're going to record this. Is that cool?
Oh, that's cooler than hell. Hell yeah. That's his biggest dream, man. You know, his biggest dream was me and him go party with you.
Trail of torn-eyed twisters, two angels on a mission game. Dust devils dance before them in the path of the hurricane. On the road to Oklahoma, through the flatlands from LA, from the shadows in the valley, from a country where the lizards play. While they drove, they got the radio on. Why don't you sing along, sing along, sing along? Brother 52. Brother 52. I don't think so. A man stands behind his shadow. A man stands behind his words. Together with family to defend the rights in another man's world. Most people stood against them. Most people disagreed with the need for all those weapons in a safe, secure society. Pick the words and the pictures on another man's skin. We are lovers, warriors, magician kings. Brother 52. Brother 52. Brother 52. Brother 52. Well, I don't think so.
Okay, here's what happened. 52 barred the door shut from the inside. A gunfight started on the front porch. 52 shot back. You know, they come to his home with it, so he's protecting himself. The guy inside the house blew his brains out. Yeah, they made it look like he killed himself. But no one believed he would, because he's not that kind of man. And so, I mean, he wasn't afraid of death. You know, he believed in something, he would die for it. That's what he did.
Some say he had it coming. Others say he was sold to blame. But who says they've got the rights of any at all to blow the brothers away? Man got a right to wonder. A man got a right to dream without looking over his shoulder to choose the manner of the life he leads. One man's thoughts and another man's skin. We are lovers, warriors, magician kings. Brother 52. Brother 52. Well, I don't think so. Brother 52. Brother 52. I don't think so.
What they had done was they had come in and murdered him for his firearms and his ammunition. And it's just like that Waco, Texas, or any of these other things. stockpiling firearms and ammunition is a threat to the government, so the government wages war against us. They tortured him. He went out, I'm sure he stood up like he's supposed to, you know, and smashed all the rings shut on his fingers with a hammer. It was all an orchestrated plan, man. The closer I was getting to the truth, the more they got everybody looking at me as being the guy that pulled the trigger. And what they did, when they killed 52, they broke the whole family up. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to break all of us up.
for listening. Take it easy. See you around.
We did 4 in that set. We wrap it up with a little birthday music. It's Jem Godfrey's birthday today. And that was his band, Frost, that closed out this set of music. From their most recent album, 2024 release entitled Life in the Wires. That's a piece called Propergander. Before that, from 1988, from an album called Sunsets on Empire, The Mighty Fish, doing a song called Brother 52. Barock Project was in there as well. They hail from Italy. Their 2024 album is entitled Time Voyager. The song you heard from that album was called Propaganda. And we started with a band that was on Jimmy Kimmel's program last week doing their song Cult of Personality, Living Color, from an album called Vivid, which was their debut album back in 1988. It is the first Monday evening in October. You're listening to The Seventh House. from their album Chromonaut. Glasshammer. Little instrumental music for you this evening. The song is called It Always Burns Sideways. We have some more instrumental music coming up for you a little bit later on. Brand new music from Beat. Their live album was released about 2 weeks ago. We'll play a track from that album for you. Got a few more songs from Genesis this evening. The other 3 songs from their Duke Suite. But we're going to get you through the top of the hour by taking you to Sweden. It's a band known as Karmakanic, 2011 album entitled In a Perfect World. It's a song called Turn It Up.
They giving me the right to pull the strings and make you think it's fine. Oh, you think it's fine. Turn it up, turn it down. Turn it up, turn it down. Turn it down. Turn it up and turn it down. Turn it down. They're giving me the right to pull the strings and make you think it's fine. Turn it up, turn it down. Call me the prices in the red, in the black, white, and in the divine. It's a matter of time. You gotta turn it up. You gotta turn it down. White and in the divine. How we done it before? You gotta turn it on.
Turn it on, Salvador. Drag the bound priest across the floor. Skin to shed, God is dead. What to do? So I yell. Wake them up and shake them up. Death and the California. Turn it on, Salvador. Brutally offensive, but never a bore. Axe in hand, no demands. I ain't out to point of view. Up to bang them out, to hang them up. Nothing is what it appears. Did he say how he likes to make the holes? Time melts away while he tries to make the holes. Turn it on, Salvador. Turn it off, Salvador. Holy rotting donkey carcass. Even tide, eggs you fried. Out of luck, what the squad? The squad. Books are guns, biking nuns. Answers that crawl from the wounds. Turn it on, Salvador.
We are in to hour number 2 of the 7th House. Genesis wrapping up 3 songs in that set, something else from their 1980 album entitled Duke, part 4 of the Duke Suite. There was a song called Turn It On Again. That was a hit for them back in the early 80s. Before that, from 1990, Patrick Simmons and Kevin Gilbert, they called themselves Toy Matinee. It was also the name of the only album they ever released, and it is a brilliant pop album. Absolutely get that one and put it in your collection. The song that you heard was called Turn It On, Salvador. And we started with Karmakanic from their 2011 album entitled In a Perfect World. The song you heard was called Turn It Up. You're listening to the 7th House on this first Monday in October. We are brought to you live every Monday evening, 8 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, courtesy of the amazing people at the House of Prog, www.houseofprog.com. Check out our website, brand new, redesigned. Scope it out. You might enjoy it. As I said, we're here till 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Brand new music starts off this set. It's a band out of Germany. They are called Flaming Row. Song's called Nita, the Keeper.
runter, mein Freund, du darfst nicht ohne mich gehen. Nun kommt die Erinnerung zu. Ich verliere den Halt, mein Kopf tut mir weh. Eine tiefe Kluft, wo Schnee zugeweht. Darum war sie nicht zu sehen. Wird Nita scheitern? Durch Schnee und Eis gegen den Wind, es schmerzt die
like a bud starting to bloom. I know what I could be. Is at one with my mind. Nature shows its grace in the hazy morning light. You got me under your wing. In everything I do. The sightless turn away as leaves fall from the tree. The cycle starts again. The strange peace in my heart, a warmth which I can feel, like a bud starting to bloom. I know what I could be. Whoa, through my eyes, I know that you can see what I see. All the world is in disguise. Whoa, through my eyes, I know that you can see what I see. All the world is in disguise.
A German set for you. 2 songs in that set, both of the bands hail from Germany. RPWL wrapped up the 2 songs in this set. Something from their 2010 album entitled Gentle Art of Music. The song that you heard was called World Through My Eyes. It's actually a different arrangement of a song that was the title track to one of their earlier albums. Real cool arrangement of that particular song. Before that, you had brand new music from a German band called Flaming Row. Melanie Mao, Martin Schnelle, Marieke Arnold amongst the musicians who are in Flaming Row. Principal vocals on the song that you heard, which was called Nita the Keeper, were provided by Natalie Brown, who is the principal singer of an American progressive band known as Circuline. Hope you enjoyed that particular track. That track is available for you out on Bandcamp if you are interested in purchasing that track. This is the 7th House. We're here for about another hour. Before we get into the 7th House tradition, just want to give a shout out to everybody in the progressive community who will be headed over to Rutherford, New Jersey this weekend. I believe this weekend is Progstock 2025. I will be there in spirit, not physically. I hope everybody travels well and has a wonderful weekend with some really great progressive rock artists. That's in Rutherford, New Jersey. And if you're interested in going, progstock.com is where you'll need to go. That aside, let's get into the 7th House tradition. Your Yes Fix this evening comes from a 1991 album entitled Union. This is called Miracle of Life. The Seventh House tradition continues. It's a tradition that we've had on this program for about 20 years now. Your Yes Fix this evening comes from 1991, an album called Union. Ever see the liner notes to that album? It literally is a cast of thousands of musicians. A lot of musicians on that album. Anyway, that was a song called Miracle of Life. Trevor Rabin, John Anderson on the vocals, Trevor Rabin on guitar, Tony Kaye on keyboards, Alan White on drums, and Chris Squire on bass. You are listening to the Seventh House. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here for about another 50 minutes to an hour. Plenty of time for you to grab your friends, let them know what you do on a Monday evening, see if you can't get them to do the same. The rest of the program, or most of the program this evening, that we have yet to play, is going to be instrumental music. And we start with Steve Vai.
walking the fine line between pagan and Christian.
Some real cool instrumental music in that set. We wrap it up with something brand new from one of the best jazz ensembles in the world. It's brand new music from Snarky Puppy. The song that you heard is called Waves Upon Waves. Their new album, which will be released in November, is called Somni. It is a collaboration, Snarky Puppy and the Metropole Orkest, which is an orchestra based in the Netherlands. And they do all kinds of recordings with musicians from different genres, ranging from Snarky Puppy to Steve Vai, who you heard before in this set, to Elvis Costello, to Al Jarreau, to Roald Midrone, to Paul McCartney. Just a great cross-section of musical artists from all genres. Before we heard from Snarky Puppy, we did hear from Steve Vai. 1997 album called Passion and Warfare. The song that you heard was called For the Love of God. It is the 7th house on this Monday evening. Thank you for tuning in. We have another instrumental piece that we're going to play for you right now. This young lady is currently featured on YouTube. There's an interview of her out on YouTube that was put out about 2 days ago. The gentleman who's interviewing her is a gentleman named Rick Beato. You may be familiar with him if you do any kind of music YouTubing. He has a very popular YouTube channel where he talks about and dissects different songs and also does some very, very good interviews with a lot of artists. His most recent interview is with the Japanese piano prodigy, a remarkable player by the name of Hiromi. And it's a real good interview. It's about an hour and 5 minutes long. And it's a good interview. And at the end of the interview, he lets her play. He just tells her, why don't you play something for us? And this is what she plays. This song is on her album Spectrum that was released in 2019. It needs no introduction, but we're going to introduce it anyway. It's a Paul McCartney piece called Blackbird. That's some music from Hiromi. It's from her album Spectrum, released in 2019. That album is a piano solo album from her, and she does an arrangement of Paul McCartney's Blackbird. As I said before the song, she is the subject of the most recent YouTube video by Rick Beato, and you really should watch it. It is really, really cool to watch. And the last 5 minutes or so of the interview, he lets her play, and she chooses to play Blackbird. And if you thought what I just played was special, you really need to watch the YouTube interview, because you think she killed it here. Oh, she kills it in the interview. She is one phenomenal player. We are just past the top of the hour on this first Monday in October. You are listening to The Seventh House. We are brought to you live every Monday evening, courtesy of the wonderful people at the House of Prog, www.houseofprog.com. We'll be here for another 30 minutes, and we get into the last half hour with Kevin Gilbert.
dogmas, smug prescriptions, placebo cures of all descriptions, shucking and jiving for the circus of the best laid plans. I wish I might, I wish I may. You ruined my August and it's only May. I'm off to join the circus, Dad, for the best laid plans. Everyone's a self-made man there before the thing began. Making such a circus of the best laid plans. Everyone's responsible. Empty words and verses full. Making such a circus of the best laid plans. Everyone has paid their fee. I beg you, you pay best laid plan. Best laid. Hey! Everyone can fill their nose. Everyone can strike their pose. Welcome to the circus of the best laid plans. Everyone's a self-made man. Before the thing began. No, no, no. Circus of the best laid plans. Everyone's responsible. Empty words and verses full. Hey! No, 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 best laid plans. Everyone was paid their fee.
Parare per il cranio, oh, what live,
Black asphalt carpet stroke my feet. Internal rhythm clocks the beat. Liquid refreshment indiscreet. Poetic license so concrete.
On the way to all
It's a double shot of Kevin Gilbert in that set. Both of those songs coming from his 2000 album, The Shaming of the True. It's an album that was released after he passed. The album was not completed when he died, and some of his friends, musician friends, got together and finished up the album for him. Really, really cool album. The song you just heard was called Imagemaker. And then before that you heard something called The Best Laid Plans. 3 more songs to share with you. The last set of the evening is coming your way right now. And this is brand new music. This is from a band called Beat. Steve Vai on guitars, Adrian Belew on guitars and vocals, Tony Levin on bass and on Chapman stick, and Danny Carey from the band Tool on the drums. They did an extensive tour last year all over the world, and they're going to tour again this year. And the purpose of the band getting together was to play live the music of King Crimson from the 1980s. Tony Levin, Adrian Belew, members of that particular band. The tour, very well received, and this live album is very, very good. Here's a track from it for you. King Crimson's song called Lark's Tongues in Aspic, Part 3. Something live for you from the band Beat. Adrian Blue, Steve Vai on guitars, Tony Levin on bass and Chapman stick, and Danny Carey on drums. That was Lark's Tongues in Aspic, Part 3, a King Crimson song recorded in the 1980s. It's a real cool album, by the way. King Crimson, obviously an acquired taste, but when you acquire the taste, very, very cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. Before we leave you with something from Genesis, I want to remind everybody that we do this program live every Monday evening, 8 p.m. until 10:30 p.m., right here at the House of Prog, www.houseofprog.com. We will be back next Monday live, and it is good to be back live. Hopefully you will be here as well. Bring a couple of your friends, make it a party, or something similar. We're going to leave you with the final two pieces of music from Genesis that made up a part of the Duke suite from the 1980 album Duke. We start with something called Duke's Travels, and until we meet again, may all of you be well, be blessed, and know that you are loved. You've been in the 7th house, and I am the Mercurial Stranger.